Hi friends, I'm Carol Keller, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Illinois in the United States, and I have a card for you today that uses the Color and Contour stamp set and the companion Scalloped Contours dies. I hope you like it. Let's go. Here's the card that I made using the Color and Contour stamp set and the Scalloped Contours dies as part of our pseudo bundle bonus today, since they are not bundled. They were in the past and they're not anymore, but they still obviously coordinate, so that's what we're going to use today. I'm starting off with a fresh Freesia card base, typical A2 or A4 size. And then I've cut several dies from the Scalloped Contours dies. I cut the largest one in Orchid Oasis, the next largest one in Pool Party, and the next largest one after that in Fresh Freesia. And I use this color combination from our wonderful color coach. As demonstrators, we have access to a color coach, and it shows different pairings of colors or trios of colors that go together. So I used that and I was very pleased with the result, and I hope you are too. So we can layer these on our card front right away, the first two layers. And now we're going to do some stamping. So I'm going to bring in a scrap, and we're going to put that underneath just to protect my surface. I love this stamp. I tend to forget about these kinds of stamps, and I really was determined to use it. This is in the Color and Contour set, and it helps to just make a background. So I'm bringing in Orchid Oasis. I stamped randomly here, but actually I'm going to go in sort of a pattern and do it this way and make a diagonal line there with the stamps, because I think that's going to show better. I do want some white space and some space that's stamped, so that's what we're going to do with that. And then I also have a scrap of basic white that we're going to use to stamp the image that goes on the front. And I'm going to put the Orchid Oasis aside, because at first we need Memento black. So we'll bring that in. And the first image, get some good ink on there. And we're going to actually stamp this several times. Once is, actually we'll do it this way, because we're going to cut that out. But then I also used it inside and on the envelope. So we're going to bring this back, and I'm going to bring my scrap back. We'll ink it again. And we don't need to ink all the way to the bottom, because that's not going to show, because we're just going to do the flowers in the corner. And we're going to bring in the envelope and do the same thing. Ink it up one more time. And stamp it here. Next, we're going to bring that Orchid Oasis back in and use the fill stamp. Now, these don't line up exactly with the stamp. It's meant to be more of a watercolor kind of effect. So I just kind of line it up with that bud at the top as best I can. But again, it's not meant to fill it in exactly. So our envelope is done. We'll put that aside. And we will bring in the inside of the card. And then again for the one that we're going to cut out. While we have the Orchid Oasis, we are also going to use that for the sentiment. So actually we'll do the inside first, since we have it here, and it will say "and in better days ahead," which will make more sense when we do the outside one. So our inside is done. And then for the outside sentiment, I have a scrap of Pool Party that is 3/4 of an inch wide. And that matters because we are going to run it through one of our punches. But first we're going to stamp. Actually, I think what I did was punch first. This is the Banners Pick-a-Punch. And so I'm going to feed it in. We're going to use this side. And see, it feeds right into that. There are 3 different sizes you can use. It feeds right into the middle one, 3/4 of an inch. And we're going to punch that and save that little tab, and you'll see why in a second. We are going to stamp the sentiment here for you now. And I want it all the way to the edge. I don't want this tag to be too long. Then I'm going to use this little notch to figure out where I need to cut it down. So if I put it right there, I want that edge to be right there. I'm going to make a little mark with my pencil. That tells me where to cut it, but actually first I'm going to get this out of the way. We don't want any ink disasters. I'm going to bring in my paper snips and I'm going to cut this right where that little mark is. Because now when I run it through the punch again, it's going to punch it right where I want it. So I'm going to turn it back this way to make sure it's straight, and I can't see any of the stamping because I put it in upside down so that I could see. If I could see the words, then I know it would be too close, but I don't see anything, which is what I want. And so when I pull it out, it's perfectly centered. Easy peasy. So now all we have to do is assemble the rest. Oh, actually, and I'm going to cut this out first. So I'll cut this out. But first we're going to, that's right, we have a little coloring. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So I'm bringing in my dark Pool Party Stampin' Blend. And I use the narrow end, and I'm just coloring in. I wanted to add a little bit of color to the leaves. I think that little pop of color looks nice. If you want to, you could even outline the stem. In fact, let's see what that looks like. For that, we'll use the brush end, but we'll be very careful. We'll do a little bit of outlining. And now I'm going to cut that out, and I'll be right back. So now I've cut this out, and I do like the extra addition of the pool party. I think I'm going to add it to that one too. And then now we're going to just do our assembly. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal again to put this layer on. I actually did think about using the next smallest layer because you can feed ribbon through this, and I was going to feed the ribbon around and tie a bow so that it was around this, and I do like that look. I probably would have done something like that, but the problem was that the sentiment, then there's kind of no room for it without overlapping the pool party, and then it got lost. So I did decide not to use that, but it is an option because I did like that look. For the flowers, I'm going to bump them up with dimensionals. And we'll center that. And then we're going to bring in some ribbon. This is Orchid Oasis metallic woven ribbon. And I'm just going to cut a little loop here. And then I'm going to take my glue dot and we'll put one in the middle to hold the two ends together and make that loop. And then we'll put another one on the front to hold it to the sentiment. About like this. And then you can see I didn't put anything here because I know the tag's going to hold it down, but I'm going to put dimensionals on each side so that it is also popped up. I don't really need anything in the middle. I could put a glue dot right here to hold it together, but I don't know that it's necessary, but you certainly could do that if you're concerned about it. because I wanted the sentiment to fit completely inside this smallest rectangle, which it does, with just a little overlap so that it shows. I wanted that fresh Freesia to be all around it, so I'm very happy with that. And then last but not least, we have bling, and I debated taking bling from different packages, but I thought the easiest thing would be to take my Iridescent Pearls Basic Jewels and color them with our Stampin' blends, and so that's what I did. So I'm going to bring in Pool Party again. I used the dark one of each color and the thick end, and we're just going to color, and you'll see the Pool Party is pretty light, but it does add some nice color. And we can layer on more if we want to. I'm going to bring in my dark Orchid Oasis and color one more. And then my dark Fresh Freesia. So you can see there's some nice color, and of course it coordinates. Who doesn't love that? I'm going to bring in my Take Your Pick tool, and we'll put them on the card. And they dry pretty quickly, which is nice too. We'll do those, and then this one on the tag. And you can see no ink on my fingers because they're dry already, which is great. That is it. That is our card for today. I hope you like it. If you are interested in buying these products from me, the Color and Contour stamp set, which is this. I love the sentiments, and I love the font. It's really pretty. And then the Scalloped Contours dies. I've used these so many times. They make great sentiment labels. So if you purchase them from me, I will give you a free PDF that has this project and a bunch of others made by other demonstrators, so that you will have many ideas for using that stamp set and those dies. So reach out to me if you are interested in that. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. Click on the bell and you'll be notified when I post new videos. I do paper pumpkin alternatives. I have lots of cards, scrapbook pages, home decor items, tips and techniques, beginner videos. So hopefully you'll find something there that is useful to you and that you enjoy. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Happy stamping!